I don't think Zeke should hold out. I do think it's important that he gets a new contract. And the reason why I don't think he should hold out, because I don't think Dallas will operate in good faith, and he jeopardized his overall health. I would go to training camp. I would let my teammates know I'm not going to play in any of the games. I'm going to be out here at practice, full participant. I'm getting ready for the season, believing that the Dallas Cowboys are going to operate in good faith moving forward to get me this contract extension. Also, the reason why I believe he should get the contract extension, because they getting ready to pass out a bunch of money.
Yes.
That if I get nicked or something, will that money be there for me in a year or a year and a half? So now is the time. He's the best player on the Cowboys team. His value to the franchise, he is invaluable. Now, just because in the last couple of years that he's had some mishaps off, that to me would, if I'm his agent, I'm pressing the issue even more. I don't want to go through another offseason without these guaranteed money. So if I'm Zeke, I'm going to training camp, but I let the team know I'm not participating in any games. And if I don't have a contract by the 4th preseason game, I will not be there the first week of the season. And that right there will get the team's attention. But I believe he will be more successful in going to camp compared to sitting at home, potentially gaining weight, not being in sync with his teammates, because his teammates will respect this approach more so than just a holdout, especially with 2 years left on the deal.
I think that approach actually is the exact right one, which is make it clear to the team, I'm going to show up. I'm going to be a good soldier as long as you guys operate in good faith. And we over these next, if you say if I don't have a new contract by training camp, now you only got a couple weeks. But if you say I'm going to give you, we got 50 days till the start of the season, 7+ weeks to get this done. But understand, if you don't get it done, I am not going to be there for the regular season. I think that might be the best way to thread the needle, because I think this is a wildly important year for the Dallas Cowboys because they're about to hand out all that money. I happen to think they're the best team in the division. I think that this year they legitimately could. I think they have the best chance this season to return to the Super Bowl that they've had in 25 years. I really believe that. I do not think that will be the case the next few years, because this team's about to get a hell of a lot less talented. They got $19 million in cap space. They're going to give Dak at least a $25 million raise,
right.
Amari a raise, Zeke a raise, Byron Jones a raise. They will come back in 2020 without that same offensive line, without that same defense, because these guys are getting paid. So the critical nature of this entire season, the beginning of this season, getting off to a good start, not having what happened in '93 where Emmett held out 2 games and they went 0-2. Now, they rallied. That team was so talented. They went 15-2 the rest of the way and won the Super Bowl. But they have to have Zeke the entire year to have a chance to reach their potential. And to me, this is the best chance they're going to have with this iteration of talent to actually reach that full potential that they wasted in year 1.
We have talked about this all week. We talked about the fact that Dak Prescott is the quarterback of this team, and you got to pay your quarterback. We talked about the fact that Amari came in for a first-round pick. You got to pay Amari. You're not going to let him go. And now we're talking about the fact that you got to get it done with Ezekiel Elliott, hopefully within the next 50 days. Do the Dallas Cowboys have enough money under the cap to be able to pay all those, keep all 3 of them happy? Forget everybody else. If those are the 3 top priorities, can they pay those top 3 the way they want to get paid before the season starts?
They got to be very creative. I mean, there is not enough space to be able to give them the appropriate signing bonuses. The way it's played out over 4 or 5 years, it's a tough call. And I could see 2 of the 3 deals getting done and someone being left out. But, man, I always go back to Dennis Green. What does he say? Every man's in business for himself. Now, I encourage you, Nick, to get as much money, Jenna as much money. But when it comes down to Chris, I ain't thinking about y'all. It ain't got nothing to do with y'all. It's about me, what's my worth to the organization, and I'm getting ready to get as much of it as I can get. And you can't be concerned about what the quarterback's getting. I don't care. Well, what about the wide receiver? I do not care. Zeke has to take it upon himself. That's why he's got to let the organization know, all right, I'll be here for camp, but I will not be here when we start the season. So you go ahead and give Amari an extension. You go ahead and give Dak an extension. I wouldn't be sitting around talking like Dak, oh, yeah, all of us need to be there. No, no, no. I would be talking about my money. You work out your own money, you and your agent and organization. But my concern is me and my well-being.
Jenna, to answer your question, you can always in the NFL structure a contract to where for this year you're fine. They could pay all of them. They could make all three today, the highest paid in the league at their position.
Well, what would that mean?
It would mean that you're borrowing from future you for today you. That's why I'm talking about the importance of this season. We know the talent on this roster. They bring back almost everyone of consequence from last year. They add talent, Randall Cobb, Robert Quinn. This team can be really, really good, but if they're going to pay these guys, those offensive linemen, we talk about being 3 All-Pros, one of them won't be there the following season. And then one of those defensive players that we think can be an All-Pro won't be there the year after. So that's where Zeke oddly has a bit of leverage here. The organization knows how critical this year is, your last year with Dak under the rookie contract, to winning with this much talent. So they can pay them all. They will pay for that in the next few seasons.
I mean, are we getting Gronk that he's going to be around 255, 260? Are we getting some other type of
If
Gronk?
you got the Gronk from last year, if the player he was, which was not the player he once was, but the player that we last saw in the Super Bowl.
At that weight.
How much would that Gronk improve this team?
That dude is dead, man. That dude ain't coming back. Y'all can play all these games you want to. When you don't do the type of training for the NFL, you set yourself up, number one, to get hurt, and there's no way that he can achieve the success because a lot of it was built on his size, his power, and the overall attitude of how he's going to play football.
So I was just reading a little bit about what he's been doing. No more weights since last season. He's only using bands, which, as you know, is a lot of stretching. He took off all that muscle mass. There's no way with 50 days left to go that he's able, am I correct, to be able to put on the amount of mass he could use in his position.
No.
So blocking tight end.
When you're getting an update from Gronk's girlfriend, oh, yeah, he's doing these bands. Well, y'all let me know the boyfriend is doing band work that's getting ready for the NFL. So for me, I'm not going to say, after 16 years of getting ready to play in the NFL, and I think in 14 of those seasons, I think I played at least like 15 games. Yep. Like, you just don't wake up out of bed, I'm going to do some band work, and that's going to keep you healthy in the NFL. He can't make it through NFL practices. Last year, he tried the TB12 method. End up getting hurt. Gronk has gotten hurt when he's been in the best physical shape. How he does his job is physical. New England right now, they're about being a physical team. Him, Devlin, Sony Michel running the football with that offensive line. The offensive line is the best group besides their secondary, which I believe is the best in the league. Gronk can't play the style of football, so that 40% report and everything, that's a bunch of BS.
But this is the ultimate, with respect, do as I say, not as I do, because you know it's a bad idea, not only because of your experience covering the game, but because you attempted something similar and you mentioned 14 of your 16 seasons, you played the full season, essentially. The 1 year you didn't, you broke your collarbone, right?
Yep.
When you missed 4 weeks.
Yep.
That was early. Then you went a dozen straight years playing the whole year. And then that final year, when you tried to come back, your body wasn't ready, and you got a lacerated spleen, and you ended up punched something terrible in the hospital. So even if it's a bad idea for Gronk to come back, I don't think we can close the door to him doing it. And even if we think he can't be ready in 50 days, the idea that he can't be ready by week 12, that he can't be ready by later, or at least think he's ready later in the season, we do see guys come back, whether it's...
Yeah, you might see him some other places, but you don't see him in the most predictable franchise in all sports. You don't see him with a team that's dominated pro football for the last 20 years. You might see that on the Raiders. You might see that on some ragtag outfit, Cleveland a couple years ago, but you don't see New England. Hey, Bill Belichick, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stay at home and get ready while you guys go out there and go through the grind. Bill Belichick, remember last year we talked about them practicing in the cold,
right,
doing all those things that get a football player ready for what he's got to endure. Gronk hadn't done anything to get ready for the season. So y'all can talk about it.
So that's really interesting. So if we don't see Gronk on the gram for the next couple months, and over the next couple months he puts on some weight, not all the weight, but some of the weight back. And if at the end of September he calls up Bill Belichick and says, "Hey, after Thanksgiving, I think I'll be ready to play," you think Belichick would say, "We appreciate the interest, but no"? You think they wouldn't allow him?
I think Bill Belichick will surprise you by the questions that he would ask Gronk. Well, why now? Well, what is it now? Well, why do you want to play now? I just don't believe it's as simple as you put it. Football and professional football is hard, all right? This is something I'm not guessing about. This is something I know. Guys right now are breaking their back, trying to get in these last 2 weeks, trying to get that last little bit of conditioning so they can make it through the season. Maybe they might be able to put on 2 to 5 pounds if they have a hard time, because during the season, once you start the season, you're not trying to get weight gains. You're trying to maintain your overall strength throughout the season, and that's what the offseason, so you're getting ready to eliminate that. And even if I had come back and been successful, I wouldn't be foolish enough to think that professional football, oh, it's a part-time job. Oh, you can do whatever you want to. You don't have to lift no weights. No, I would be naive to stupid and lying to the general public. Like, this is too hard to do. And I just wish we would give football players a little more credit for getting through the season than what Gronk is doing right now.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.